Welcome to the DJ Insider Podcast, sponsored by Amplified Events.
It's the only podcast where we break down insider information from our weddings, experiences, and advice from over 15 years in the wedding industry.
We're your hosts. I'm Mike Kane, owner of Amplified Events.
And I'm Chris Zart, general manager of Amplified Events.
Let's get into it. Okay, well, we are back. Welcome to the podcast. Julee, do you go by Myers Kistler or just Kistler? I was at Facebook. I always,
Facebook.
I assume that's so your friends can connect to you with the. That's that Julee. Yes. So, but you're the Julee I know from weddings and the wedding industry. And for those who don't know, tell a little bit about yourself, about what you do.
So I'm a wedding planner. I've been in the industry almost 18 years. Prior to that, I did a little wedding photography with my brother-in-law. I started out at the bottom. I started as a server and worked my way up, and then I started running venues and coordinating weddings, and I love it.
That's awesome.
Best job I've ever had.
I didn't realize you did photography. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Just to all those photogs out there, because no thank you. No thank you.
I love what they do, but I'm like, after a wedding, I want to be done with that wedding. Like,
Right.
it's,
I would love to take photos.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the
the editing. Yes, that's
I'm not
that's
good.
where the
I'm
real
not
work
creative
starts.
enough for that.
Yeah.
And that's where all the artists come out in the photographers, is the editing and just the way they connect with people. That's huge.
Yeah. And to me, the passion,
Oh, yeah.
that's where it comes through.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I always think about when I think about you is I've known you for a few years, kind of working industry events and working weddings and stuff. But anytime I'm like, oh, I'm working with Julee.
I know.
I get
feel the same
so
way with
excited.
I feel the same way when I'm at a venue and I'm working and you see the vendor list and you go, okay, this is going to be very hands-on. Or I see the vendor lists and I see all the names of people I love and I go, oh, it's going to be a fantastic day. Like, I don't have to babysit vendors all day. This is fantastic. I love it.
I get to work with my friends.
I
We get
know.
to catch up, talk some shop.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's nice that I've been doing it long enough with people that they know what I expect. I know what they expect. And we all work together great.
Yes.
And that makes a difference.
Oh, it's the best.
Your vendors will make or break your day.
Yes. But I love it's just uplifting. Just your whole mood, your persona is it's joy.
It's fun.
You're excited. We're here. People are getting married. And you're like, let's be on time. But we're, like,
I know. I'm a time Nazi. I can't help it.
You have to be in this line of work. And somebody's got to be, otherwise we won't start.
I'm nice about it, though. I don't think I've ever been mean
No,
to anybody.
not at all. No.
But it's important to keep time on a day because from you being a DJ, you're there till the end. But a photographer and a videographer, they're on a timeline.
Yeah.
So when their job is finished at 9 o'clock, they're done at 9 o'clock. If everything goes late, now they're working later, and that's not always positive for them. And sometimes it's the venue's fault of not being on time. Sometimes it's the bride's fault because she's off chit-chatting. And you can't blame a bride. She's excited. It's the best day of her life, But, yeah, I love what I do. Yeah. I'm very lucky. There's not very many people in our world that love their job. Being in the wedding industry, I think we all have to love what we do.
Yeah. Well, to me, that's really infectious. And I've really tried to curate, and you seem to do the same thing, relationships of people who are like-minded.
Yes.
We're like, we love this work. We're passionate about this work, and we want to do a fantastic job.
Right.
Because we want it to be an amazing day for everybody, and even the people we work with. It's just that's not always possible, but within our control, we always try to make that happen. And so that's, talking to you, I was like, oh yeah, this would be perfect.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
So you said you got started kind of in photography and
Yep.
then wedding venue stuff, and it's been 18 years.
I know.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
So you wear a lot of hats.
I do. I mean, over the years of coordinating with brides, I love to friend brides on Facebook, and I love when they friend me.
Yeah.
Couple examples of things that have happened. I'll pull up Facebook at the end of the night, and some bride's like, I am just so over wedding planning. I'm done. And I'm like, texting her. I'm like, why are you posting that on Facebook? Do you know that everybody knows you're getting married in 3 months? Why are you stressed about it? Take that post down.
Yeah.
And tell me what's wrong. So I'm a part-time therapist. Brides, they've never done this before. They're new at this. And they're stressed.
Yeah.
So young people go to social media.
Yeah.
And when I see that from a bride, I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. Take that down. Take that down. Because all your friends and family are like, why is she stressed about the wedding? What's happening? Did somebody back out? What's going on? Are they not getting along?
Oh, then the questions start.
And then the questions start. And now
Yeah.
because you're upset because maybe your floral appointment didn't go well or a bridesmaid backed out, now everybody thinks something's wrong with your relationship. So take it down. Take it down. Take it down. So I have to
cancel the flights.
Yep,
Yeah.
So I feel like I like to I like to be a part of their lives,
Yeah.
and most brides book 18 to 24 months out. So when you form a relationship with that bride, there's people in the world that collect shoes or cars. I collect brides. I love brides. They're happy. It's the best day of their life. And who doesn't want to go to a job that's fun?
Yes.
And everybody's excited and they're in love, and it's just that feeling.
Yes.
It's that feeling.
Yes, and everybody's pulling together to make this the most amazing thing possible.
Yes.
It's my favorite. It's
I
my
mean,
absolute favorite.
My background, I went to school for education, but I'm glad I didn't become a teacher. I teach brides, not kids.
Yeah.
But there's something about people being in love. And I love being around people in love. And it makes my life better. It makes my home life better because I come home happy every day after a wedding. I mean, I'm still floating from that bride's love. And who can say that you're happy all the time?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to have a bad day.
Well, it doesn't really feel like work
No, it
you
doesn't.
love what you do, you love who you work
yeah.
with, and yeah, I love that I've done this long enough now where I've developed the confidence to know what the best thing is,
Right.
and to help people who are in a cry for help. I'm struggling, I'm drowning with all the details, with all of it, and to just help them through that. Like, it's going to be great.
I know.
It's going to be great.
And it's good when you work with good vendors, and that's like my biggest thing that I tell brides. Your vendors will make or break your wedding. Bottom line. If you do not when you hire a friend of a friend with a laptop to be your DJ, that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
Or you're hiring a DJ that you met at a club.
My cousin has a new camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a photographer. I mean, don't get me wrong. There have been a lot of photographers that I have been blessed to be at the beginning of their career with them. Kayla Canese.
Yeah.
She was my bride. She got married with me. I fell in love with her. Oh, what's not to love about her and Chris,
are the best.
right?
They were at the wedding on
I
Friday,
know,
which is
I know.
crazy.
And so to have her come back to me and say, I want to do wedding photography. Would you help promote me? And she showed me her work, and I was like blown away at young Kayla's work. And now, fast forward, she's incredible. She's incredible. And I got to be part from the beginning to watch her grow. I mean, her and Chris's married life, their children, like, I've got to witness all of that with her. She is a fantastic photographer. When you hire somebody, a friend with a camera.
Yeah.
I mean, your DJ and photographer are the two most important people you're going to book for your wedding day. Your photographer is capturing every memory and every moment of that day for you because you blink and it's gone. And your DJ is your MC for the night. I mean, I don't even want to tell you how many bad DJs I've seen in my life. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I could have done a better job than them.
Right.
Like, get out of my way and let me do it because I'm going to figure this out, but I can't, I mean, I see it all.
Yes.
Okay, being a coordinator, you see it all.
Good, the bad, the ugly. All of it.
But that's when you're spending $25,000 to $30,000 on a day and you're going to go with $1,000 DJ.
I don't understand it.
Makes me cringe.
We want to have a bad party.
I know. And that's what I mean. Like, cut back somewhere else. Cut back somewhere else.
Or save up, work out a payment plan, something.
Yes.
There's always a way.
Wait 6 more months. Pay the money for the DJ. Pay the money for the photographer. When my iPhone pictures are better than the photographer's photos, that's a problem.
That's a huge problem.
Yeah.
When the
good.
party, nobody's dancing, everybody's going
Oh.
home. Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah. Well,
DJ's doing awkward, weird stuff.
trying to get the party started, pulling out props, and and I'm thinking, what is he the DJ or is he in the photo booth? What do we got going on the dance floor right now?
It's a gimmick. It's a
They're
gimmick.
trying, but everybody starts somewhere.
Absolutely.
But this is the most important day of your life right now, and you want to chance that. It's, I don't know.
I'm of a like mind here, and that's partly why I started the podcast, is to kind of get the word out. And it's stuff that doesn't come up in sales meetings or come up in conversations with newer couples inquiring, but to like help educate and help people understand what goes into this, and that there's a large number of people who are passionate and good at this work. And even if it's not us, I love what I do and I love us, but there's other DJs who are just as good, who are fantastic at what they do. And we have them on the podcast, and I'm like, they're preaching the same stuff, that like, spend some time, get to know them, build a relationship, and spend some money on making, because you're paying for that outcome. You want this amazing day.
I know.
Yeah.
Or when I remember I had a DJ and I'm like, so we're ready for introductions. And he goes, what do you mean?
Oh, no.
I said, well, you have to introduce the couple in the wedding party. He goes, oh, I don't know how to do that.
I don't know how to do that.
He goes, I'm not talking on that microphone. I'm like, dude, you're the DJ.
You own the microphone. What are you doing?
What are you doing? And he's like, well, you do it. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I mean, what? So we had to have a family member come up and introduce the wedding party and have them introduced in. And I'm like, did you not interview the DJ to know, like, what he was going to do for you? Okay.
Yeah, he just said he DJ'd. So, we gave him money, and he's...
I know. How long have you been in the business?
Oh, let's see. My sister's wedding was the first wedding I did, and that was in 2004.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I, on and off for a few years there, and I went full-time in, like, 2013. That's when I just started DJing.
Okay.
Pretty much
10 years.
Every weekend, yeah. So, and then I talk about this all the time, where it's like, if I could go back to those early couples, I was like, I want to do a better, like, I know that early mic DJing it's different than now. Like, I'm so much better of a DJ than I was back then. And I so appreciate that couples gave me a chance and a shot. And I was able to learn through this process. But I always felt like I tried to honor that the couple, what they wanted, listen, and to try my best to deliver that. But I've gotten so much better than I was back then,
Well, we grow and we learn. Every event we learn. Every week we learn something new. And you learn what a couple needs. And once you get to know your couple.
Then it's the work is done. It's so much easier.
And I feel like it's, and I always tell everybody, book your DJ, book your photographer. Those are the first, hair and makeup now, because they're hot commodity too. So you got to get good vendors booked. And I've had brides that have wanted certain vendors. And they're like, I know I booked a Saturday with you. I got to move to a Friday because the vendors I want aren't available on that Saturday.
Wow.
You have Friday open.
Their date for
They'll move their date for vendors.
That's incredible.
And that says a lot, And when it's vendors that I know, I'm like, absolutely, you made the right choice. Like, don't go with something. Like, go with your gut. Go with your gut. If you meet somebody and you feel passionate, like, I know this guy's going to do a great job at my wedding.
Yes.
Hire him.
I can trust that person with my wedding.
And that's where I think brides and grooms, they need to lean more on their coordinators at the venue.
Yes.
Trust what they're saying to you, because it's not like, I've done hundreds and hundreds of weddings. I've seen it all. Yeah. I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it.
And you want everyone to have the best wedding possible.
You're spending hard-earned money. And I would say over the years, most of my couples pay for everything themselves, a good percentage of them. That's hard-earned money.
Yeah.
So trust what I'm telling you when I tell you, I wouldn't hire that person. I would go a different direction. Trust what I'm saying to you. I don't want to badmouth people, but I see it. And when I know, like, when I have brides that are like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know who I should book. I don't know how to plan a wedding. Okay, just book this DJ because he's going to help you and hold your hand through the whole process. Yeah. Just trust me.
Yeah.
And I've had older couples that I'm like, that DJ would be great for you.
Yeah, it's a better fit.
I know your fit.
I know their style, their music. This is going to be a good match.
So I feel like if brides and grooms reached out to the venues, especially if your venue has a coordinator on staff.
Yeah.
I'm at the Allure on the Lake, and there's 3 of us, and we all work together great. We all want to make sure each day is perfect for our brides.
Yes.
And trust us.
Yeah.
We've all been doing this a long time. Trust when we tell you, take our advice. Don't take your friend's advice that was drunk at a wedding and liked the DJ. Trust us.
There is a whole thing to that. And I do talk all the time about how it's so important that you connect with that person.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're going to be making decisions on behalf of you the day of. And do you trust that person to do that? Do you trust them to pick out good songs that your guests will respond to, that your family will like? Do you trust them to, if there's a problem, how they're going to handle that?
Right.
Are they going to be a person that adds more stress the day of, or that is non-existent, they disappear? Or are they going to be a person that really steps up and just does everything they can to make this day amazing?
And that's what you want. I mean, and that's why, I tell brides, and I think they've never done this before, so they're naive. They don't know, but I always say, interview, go meet people in the wedding industry, talk to them, get
Doesn't
to know them.
cost anything.
It's free.
Just a little bit of your
Every
time.
vendor will want to meet with you.
They love
Every
it.
vendor wants to sell themselves to you. So go meet with them. And when you walk away, be like, oh, I totally can see us having her as our photographer or him as our photographer. Or that is our, that guy has to be our DJ.
Yes.
Like, you want to walk away and you want to have a good feeling. If you have that feeling, book them. Go back in the door and sign the contract.
Yeah.
Don't wait, because everybody's a hot commodity.
They do. We book out,
I think yesterday, Natalie signed her 81st contract
Oh my
for
gosh.
2024.
Woo. A busy year.
We're going to be busy.
But of course, because you have the magic over there. You guys know what to do. You have a beautiful venue. You have an amazing staff, and you just crush it.
It's fun. We have fun.
That's the best.
I mean, who can go to work and have fun every day?
I don't know. I was so thrilled on Friday when you were there and Natalie was there, and then we were doing Tyler and Jaleesa's wedding. I was like, they're an amazing couple. Turns out I knew a bunch of people. I'd done some of the weddings of
Sonia
people.
was the photographer.
Yeah,
Chris
Sonia
and
was the
Kayla
photographer.
Were,
yes.
It was just like, I love when, and it was so nice to be a vendor, and then you get to go to a wedding.
Yeah.
And you get to enjoy it. You get to see it from a different perspective, because my son got married this summer, and I don't go to a lot of weddings because I work all the time, but to actually be able to go to a wedding and enjoy myself.
As a parent, as a planner, what was that like? Planning, working with your son and his wife?
It was a lot. It was fun. It was hard because they're like, who should we book? I'm like, oh God, no. No, don't make me
choose.
Don't make me pick your vendors. I can't do it. I said, I can't do it. I can't. You have to pick your own vendors. And they both worked for me during college, so they got to know
I think it's a good idea.
They knew, DJs and stuff. So it was weird, like sitting in the chair getting my hair and makeup done by Chrissy and Sherry. It was weird.
Wow.
Like, I've watched them do hundreds of brides for me, and I got to sit in the chair. And I thought, wow, this is how that feels. When they say you blink and it's over, it went fast. The whole day went so fast. And it was like we're doing our mother-son dance, and then we're dancing all night. And last song, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even get to talk to everybody tonight, But it was different being the mother of the groom versus being the coordinator. And I helped. We did everything together.
Helped
and
plan. You're part of that process too.
But it was funny as people were like, "Oh, so who's doing your wedding?" "Oh, my mother-in-law." And mother-in-laws don't have a good reputation most of the time, so they're looking at her like, "You're letting your mother-in-law plan your wedding? Like, are you sure?" And they're like, she's like, "Yeah." And it's funny that then she'll tell people, "Well, who's your mother-in-law?" "Julee Kistler." "Oh. She did my wedding." She did my wedding, And so,
I know Julie.
and my daughter-in-law is a labor and delivery nurse, so she's delivered babies. And when she was planning her wedding and talking about it, they're like, "I got married with your mom, with your mother-in-law." Just crazy how the world is. But I don't think I could be the mother of the bride. I think that was a whole different stress for her mom. Being the mother of the groom, I just got to say yes. Like, what do you want? Yes.
Yeah.
I don't have a daughter, so I got to have her.
Yeah.
But it was different. It was different. Good different, but
yeah.
I want to say I did enjoy myself. I had a really good night. I had fun. My husband, we danced all night. We had a great time, but it went fast.
Anything you would have done differently?
No.
Yeah, going through that experience,
No.
It's no regrets.
No regrets.
That's fantastic.
No regrets.
That's what the goal
And
is.
she'll tell everybody she had her dream wedding. And that's all I wanted. Whatever she wanted. I wanted her to have the day of her dreams, and she got it. So that made me happy, but then you go back, it wasn't, I mean, their wedding was on a Saturday. I had a wedding on Friday, so I worked Friday night, worked the wedding, did my job, and then
Right back at it.
next day I was mother of the groom. The day after that was another wedding. I had to take that day off.
Yeah, right.
I couldn't work
Some
that
well-earned
third wedding.
vacation to.
Yeah, I needed one wedding off after the fact, but it's good. And then the next weekend you just jump back in and it's your job. That's what you do. And it's been a fun ride. I'm hoping 10 more years. 10 more years. I do know when I wake up one day and go, oh, I gotta go to work.
Yeah,
I know it's time to be done.
That's the time.
Because this is not about me. This is about the bride and groom. And when you cannot give 100% of yourself to that bride and groom the day of their wedding, you have no business being in the wedding industry. And that's where I think people miss the mark a little bit. And I've seen it. You know, I mean, it's November. We're burned out. We're tired.
Yeah.
We are. We're winding down. And you look forward to that January, February of just, you know, one here, one there, you know, because then you got to gear up for the season. And then it just starts creeping up. And then the next thing you know, you're at 3 weddings every weekend for 6 months. And that's a lot.
It's funny that like you and I both just did the sound.
I know.
Because that's exactly, we're literally letting off the steam that is built up.
Right.
And just, we can relax.
I know.
We can unwind,
I know.
do some self-care.
And that's important, especially for vendors in the wedding industry. You know, you give so much of yourself to these brides and grooms and these couples to give them the most important day of their life. And you want it to be perfect. Yeah. Things go wrong. They don't know. But we know, like if something goes wrong, you're like, oh, I can't believe that happened. You know, I'm so mad at myself.
You have like nightmares about it.
I know,
you know?
And
like
you do.
Just,
you wake up in the middle of the night and you think, oh my God, I hope they don't know that happened at their wedding.
Yes,
you know, like you hope that they don't know. And, you know, after the fact, they're like, thank you for, you know, it was a great day. I get beautiful cards in the mail. And it's just.
I have a whole stack.
I do too. I have a box.
I save it all. Yeah.
I have been saving
Someday
all
I'm
of them.
going to put it somewhere to remind me that like.
I want to make a scrapbook of them.
Yes.
And it's just for me. But, you know, like over the years, I get Christmas cards from couples or a baby announcement. Or, you know, like I get to watch live feed of their gender reveal, you know, and I cry, you know, or like today, I pulled up Facebook this morning and literally the first 10 posts were all past brides. Man. Somebody bought a house, somebody had a baby, somebody's celebrating an anniversary or a birthday. And I'm just like, oh.
Here's Halloween photos of the kids, you know.
And I just think to myself, like, I mean, I have the one girl that I've been, I mean, she was one of my very first brides in like 2007, 6, you know, and she has 3 kids. I mean, they're teenagers.
Wow.
They're, you know, and it just, wow. And she'll message me every once in a while, or I'll make a comment on her post, and she's like, it all started with you. And I'm like, wow. You know, or when they call you, hey, I'm pregnant, I want to do a baby shower with you. Heck yeah, come. Let's do a baby shower. You know, I mean, that's exciting. So I like to see how my couples grow, you know, and that's what I love about Facebook is I get to watch them grow.
Yeah. Well, it's so cool that to do a job where you're a part of this really important day and you develop a very intimate, close relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And then that just continues on. Of course it does.
Yeah.
The people who are the best in this line of work, like you're saying, they really do care about the outcome. They really do care as if it was their own wedding, like better than their own.
Right.
It stresses me out. I did my brother's wedding in 2016 and I was so stressed because I wanted it to be perfect.
Well, your whole family was there
right?
too.
It's just, it just has to be great,
right?
Because it's my brother and he deserves the best. Mm-hmm. Like you want everything to be there. It's so weird that the closer you are with somebody, the more you care. But there's couples even that I just met that I developed that relationship with, and I'm like, yes, we have a lot in common. Yes, we agree on a lot of things, and I'm like, I want this to be amazing. Then I get kind of nervous and get excited to like, how can I find ways to make it extra special?
Right.
And it's when things inevitably go wrong, I'm trying to find ways to like smooth it out without them ever knowing, or find a way to like make this better, or find a way to speed things up or slow things down or whatever it is because I just want it to be the best.
I know. And that's what good vendors do. I mean, you want your couple to have the best day of their life. And if you can't, there are situations where you just can't.
It's out of your control.
It's out of your control,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
things. But you take that personally,
I do.
you know?
Those
and
haunt me.
I
When
know.
I'm just like, I just wish it would have gone, but it wasn't my fault.
know.
I did everything I could.
I know. And it does. And I mean, those are memories of things that you think, oh, and then you think to yourself, okay, how can I do it better next time?
Yes.
Or how can I help control that situation?
Can I help explain more ahead of time to the couple that
Yeah.
I'm worried about this happening? If we
Yeah.
do it this way, it's
Yeah.
not going to go the way you think.
I know. And and it's, some of the couples, they have their idea in their head of exactly what they want. And then they try to explain, this is how I want my day to go or whatever. And in the beginning, I was like, okay. And then they were disappointed. And it's hard to be honest with a couple, but that's what I've learned. They appreciate my honesty. And I'm like, listen, that ain't going to happen like that. So let me tell you how we can try to make it happen as close to that. But I need you to understand, and they're like, yeah, I kind of thought you were going to say that. And, and I said, but we can make things happen like that. But I don't want you to be disappointed. So let's talk about it now, 3 months before your wedding, so we can get a plan so we're ready, and they're appreciative, because I want to be honest with them. I want them to have the best day. They're spending a lot of money, and I don't want them to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's been, a few over the years that are like, oh, I wish I would have did something different, or I wish I would have done that. Or I had one bride at the end of her night, awful DJ, awful. And she comes up, she goes, you were right, I should have listened to you. And I said, honey, I don't want to be right. I just wanted you to have the best day. And that's why I recommended you maybe not to go with him, She's like, I should have listened. It was awful. It was awful. And then you just feel this sick feeling in your stomach like, oh, that's what she's walking away from her wedding. Everybody left an hour and a half early. Nobody danced. The music wasn't good. They didn't play the playlist, and you just, I go home and cry. I cry. It's just an awful feeling. Oof. I don't like those feelings. I don't have very many of those.
I try
to
avoid
like
those. Yes.
Yeah, I don't like those. But
I want to.
It's definitely an emotional connection. I mean, there's been a couple things I remember. A bride coming up to me and just red, embarrassed, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" She was like, I have to go to the bathroom. I said, okay. She goes, I need help. And all my bridesmaids are drunk and they can't help me.
Oh, no.
I'm like, okay. She goes, but you're going to see me naked. I don't have underwear on. And I'm like, it's okay. I can hold up your dress. It's okay, And she's just red. And she's going to the bathroom. I'm holding her dress up, And I mean, she knows me, but she doesn't know me like her girlfriends, She was embarrassed to ask me to help her go to the bathroom to hold her dress up. I said, honey, I love you. I'm going to do whatever you need me to do. I mean, to the point where I remember groomsmen walking down the aisle. I'm like, you have gum in your mouth. You got to spit your gum out. Into my hand.
I hate when people do that with speeches.
He spits the gum into my hand. And I'm like, okay, I have gum in my hand. I'm a groomsman. When I said, you got to spit out your gum. He spits it in my hand. I'm like, okay, where's the hand sanitizer for that? That's happened.
Oh my gosh, I love that. But there is that. You care enough, and you want that person to have dignity and respect, and you value them. You really do care.
Yeah.
And I wish that wasn't so rare, but I feel like it's a little bit rare.
It is. And I mean, it's a good and bad thing for me because I think I care too much. But on a wedding day, you can't care about a bride too much.
You have to almost be detached. Yeah.
And I feel
there's a
like,
plan we have to enact now.
And I feel like I anticipate these brides coming up, and I'm like, oh gosh, and I'm always like, oh, I'm not going to get too attached. There's too many, I'm not going to get too attached. Yeah, sure. You're not going to get too attached to a bride. Sure, you're not. But in my head, I think that, like, I can't. How much more can I give? But I do. I mean. And I know brides have said to me, and this is what made me know that I know I'm doing a good job. You treated me like I was the only bride that you were working with. And when people say that to me, I want them all to have 100% of my attention.
Yeah.
And when brides say that to me, I'm like, wow, I did good. I finally can say I did good. You know, like they thought they were the most important person. And that's how it should be. You know, your bride should be the most important person to you on the day of their wedding. You shouldn't be worrying about tomorrow's bride or what happened yesterday. The bride right there in front of you
Focus.
should be the most important person to you. And that's what I like to give them. I don't know. I love to make people happy.
Right. Yes. And that's kind of what attracted me to kind of this work. But what are some of the biggest challenges in this line?
You know, what I've seen lately, it's bridesmaids. I mean,
interesting.
These bridesmaids,
like where they'll take over and try
they want it to
have
be about
their
them.
wedding. Yeah.
And when a bride asks you to stand up in a wedding, you already need to know in your head, I'm going to wear the dress she wants me to wear.
Yeah.
The color she wants me to wear. I'm going to be invited to a bachelorette party. I'm going to be invited to a shower. There's a financial commitment.
Yeah.
I have never, in the last several years, seen bridesmaids be like, I got to drop out. I don't like the dress. I don't like the dress. I can't, what do you mean you don't like the dress? It's not your wedding. Put the dress on, smile, and be there for your bride.
Yeah.
Or these bridesmaids are like, well, I'm not going to the bachelorette party. I don't want to go to Nashville. It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's about your friend. This is about your friend. And a lot of brides and once you've been married and, then you have a different perspective. But I was in a lot of weddings growing up in my younger years. I would have never said to the bride, ooh, I don't like that dress, or, oh, I don't like that color. I was thrilled to be asked to stand up with her on the most important day of her life.
It's a privilege.
It is a privilege. And I think these girls have gotten away from that. And they think, well, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to help her with that. I'm going to go have a good time. You're supposed to be there to support the bride.
To make sure she has a good time.
Right. It's about her, not you. Like, stop. Watching these girls get ready during the day, or the bride will be like, I have a bridesmaid that's going to be a problem. I'm like, then why is she in your wedding?
Yeah.
Well, I've already asked her. Well, unask her.
Unask her.
This is your day. I don't want you to feel bad. Everybody at your wedding should be there because they love you.
Yes.
And they want to see you happy. They want to see you marry the man of your dreams. And if somebody isn't on board with that, kick them out. Life's too short. Life's too short. Don't have that girl in your wedding just because she was your neighbor down the street growing up
We
and
grew
you
up
stood
together.
up in her wedding 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so you feel there's no obligation. You need to have the people that mean the most to you stand there next to you on that day and give you 100% of love and support. Yeah. That's what it's about.
Yes. And the same goes for guests.
Oh, don't get me started.
Be somebody who's all in.
Right.
I'm committed to celebrating this couple, to having the most fun, to signing the guest book, to taking a photo, to eating the food, to raving about the decorations.
Right. If you don't like something,
don't tell anybody. Why would
wait
you?
till you get in the car and tell your husband.
Fine.
But yeah, guests.
Keep your drama at home too. If you have serious stuff going, maybe it's not a good time to go to a wedding.
Right. Then don't go.
If you can't mentally be in a space to celebrate that couple, then don't go.
Right.
You're just going to be
so
drawing attention away, bringing people down, bringing your problems to someone else's big event.
Oh yeah, and I see it. It's unbelievable. My bad story. We were serving dinner. One of my servers comes up to me and says, table 7, that guy's really mad. He wants to talk to you. And I'm like, we're in the middle of a serve. I heard somebody raise their voice, but you're busy. You're trying to get the food out. So I walk over there and he goes, we have a problem. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, I did not order the chicken. And I said, okay, but your place card says, is this your place card? It says that you ordered the chicken. He goes, I did not order the chicken. We're talking colorful language, raising his voice a little bit. Everybody at the table is like looking down like, oh my gosh.
The night is ruined, people.
The wife sitting next to him like, and that's never happened to me before. And I'm thinking to myself, I go, well, and he goes, you messed up. And I'm like, okay, well, the bride and groom make the guest cards. They put on what you had ordered for your food. He's mad. He is. I've been cussed at, but
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Finally, his wife goes, 5 minutes of yelling at me. I ordered you the chicken. And I look at her and I look at him and he looks at her and he goes, what? Why would you not order me the beef? I can't. And so now he's yelling at her.
Oh, my.
And I'm trying to back away a little bit. He gets up, throws his napkin down, and walks out, leaves his wife behind.
Wow.
No apology. Like, I'm so sorry I yelled at you and the server.
Sorry for making a scene, everybody.
First of all, when you attend a wedding, you're going to eat what's put in front of you.
Right.
You don't know sometimes. If it's a family-style dinner, you don't know.
Yeah.
The food gets put in front of you. You're at somebody's wedding. Why are you complaining about the food? Or the guest that goes, yeah, I don't want to eat that.
Sir, did you not enjoy your free meal?
Right. And I'm thinking, what do you mean you don't want to eat that? I want to order something else. We're not a restaurant. This is a wedding
There's
venue.
2 proteins and a veggie option.
like,
That's what we've got.
I'm sorry. Like, this is what the dinner is. Yeah, I don't want it. You can take it away. Okay. What? I thought, wow. I mean, I don't know anybody personally that would go to a wedding and complain about the food put in front of them and request a different meal. Like, can I get a hamburger?
It's not the one I wanted.
I know. And I just
Such
think,
a child.
like you said, being a guest, you're all in.
You should be.
You have to be there.
Or don't go.
Right. Something came up. I'm sick. I can't make it. Like, send a card. Cover your plate. Send a card.
Yes.
But if you're not 100% there for that couple, don't go. Don't go. Because everybody knows that guy, all those tables around know what that guy did.
Yeah.
And it was not pretty.
He made the people working the wedding, it made their life harder.
Right.
Everybody else felt uncomfortable.
Yes.
It made a scene.
Yes.
And now they have memories attached to that.
Right. I mean, thankfully, I think the bride and groom were far enough away that
They weren't involved in it. And
engaged, doing, that they didn't know what was going on.
that poor guy had to eat a burger on the way home.
Right. He probably had to go through McDonald's.
No, it's not what he
Like,
wanted.
you didn't want to eat that nice piece of chicken on your plate. I mean, seriously. I know. And see, and you have a different perspective because you're behind the booth. So you're
my
seeing
goodness.
everything on that end. And I mean, I would like to all of us just get up vendors together and just talk
Have
about
a
the things
whole-
we see.
It's wild, some of the stuff.
I mean, I keep a journal and I keep saying I need to write a book. Like I need to write a book. And I mean, I've had brides, things have happened at their wedding. They're like, if you write a book, you better put that in there. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to put it in. You better name my mother or my mother-in-law. I'm like, oh no, there will be no names, no nothing.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean,
I'm not trying to get sued.
Yeah, I
you know?
can't get sued, but I said, if I put a story in about your wedding, you could tell everybody, this is about my wedding.
Yes.
This is my wedding
Go
right
ahead.
here.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, there's a lot of good, but then there's just things like, who wears white to a wedding? Why would you wear white?
I
to
see
somebody's
people wear
wedding?
wedding dresses that are not the bride.
I know. Who does that?
I don't get it. It's somebody who can't handle not being the center of attention.
I know.
you
And
know?
that's where we go back to being the guest.
Yeah.
If you can't be all in for that couple, don't go.
Yeah.
It's not about you.
I can't hear my song.
I know.
Sorry.
Oh, how many times do people come? You didn't play my song.
It's the worst. It's the worst. They act as though, well, I sent it in as part of the, I wrote.
Oh, yeah.
on
When
the-
they, yeah.
And I was like, no, I know. I talked to the couple about that, and they went ahead and edited that list and then gave me the stuff they liked.
Right.
Your song wasn't on there. I'm so sorry.
I know.
But they act as though you have single-handedly ruined this wedding by
Because-
not playing my song. I was like, well, this was on the bride's request list. I go, that's really funny because I have it right here.
Yeah.
And I've actually played all of their songs already.
Yeah.
That's so funny that you bring that up because I actually have the bride's request list. You know?
I can't even imagine. I mean,
And by that time they're drunk. And,
Oh, yeah.
They're just the worst are the ones who won't let it go. They
Oh.
just you play it. Yeah, are you gonna play it? When are you playing it? I'm about to leave soon. It's just always about them. We're leaving. We need to go. Are you playing it or not? Yeah.
oh man.
One more song. Why can't you play one more song? Because we're done for the night.
I know.
Everybody's going home. All the
And
people.
I mean, and it's great when people want to keep that party going.
It's fantastic. That's great. I did
I
a good
felt
job.
like that. Like I always, I don't want to stop, but there is a time, there is an end time, and you have to remember the venue, the servers, the vendors, like bartenders, like
They were
okay,
working. They weren't.
it's 11 o'clock,
Yeah.
the wedding's over. Whew, let's clean up
They
and
weren't
go
partying,
home.
and they have families.
They've
and
been there all day.
Yeah.
They get there 2 hours before guests arrive, and they're prepping and setting up and getting ready for this event. And when they're done, they're done. They want those lights to come on and everybody needs to go home.
And they probably have another wedding tomorrow.
Of course.
Like we got to flip the room. We got to get reset.
Flip the room. Yes. You know, I mean, you've done 3 in a weekend, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. I've done 4.
Yeah. During COVID.
Yeah.
When you think about during COVID, I mean, we were doing 3-4 a week.
Yeah.
During the week.
It was crazy.
It
Monday,
was crazy.
Tuesday weddings.
Yes.
It was like,
I mean,
it was fun. I love the work, but by Tuesday I was like, I'm tired.
I remember my staff one time going, stop. Stop. And they would make a sticky. It's okay to say no. I can't tell a bride no. I just can't do it. But
it was such a wild time in human history.
It was. And you just, this venue closed. What can you do? Well, I have weekday weddings.
Yeah. This one burned down, or there's an issue here with the date, and this vendor can't come.
And I just felt like, well, Monday, your vendor should be available on Monday. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how we all survived that in the wedding industry.
I think the best people pulled together.
They did. And you know what I love about our group of Northwest Indiana vendors? When dates had to be changed, you knew everybody stepped up. I'll take that wedding for you.
Yes.
I'm available.
Yes.
Here, you're going to go with this DJ. You're going to go with this photographer. Like everybody that had to move, everybody stepped up and helped each other. There was no competition. There was no nothing. Everybody pulled together for the sake of these couples, for the ones that still wanted to get married in 21 and 22. Everybody came together and they did it. And it was so stressful on the couple. And then to be like, okay, we moved our wedding date. I'm sorry, I'm not available that day. And it wasn't like, well, you just lost all your money. I mean, somebody picked up your wedding for them and you gave them the money. Everybody came together.
I gave so many refunds.
I think that took the people that were just quarter time wedding vendors, like, I'm going to do 3 weddings a year. That kind of took them out of the equation a little bit. And everybody who knows that does this as their profession knew what was involved. And every single person stepped up. And that, I was so happy. Like, brides call me, okay, this DJ can't do it, but I got this DJ. Is that okay? I'm like, yes, that's great. That's great. My photographer can't do it that day, but, she's going to send somebody else. Okay, it'll be fine. Trust me. But I feel like, it brought out the worst in a lot of people.
That too.
But I think for our area, everybody pulled together. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was glad. I mean, it sucked. Let's be honest. It sucked.
Yeah.
But I was glad to be part of making people happy and helping them get their date back on track. And we pulled it off.
Yeah.
We survived it.
Yeah. There was a few moments where it was like, are we ever going to have weddings again?
Oh.
There was just, is this done?
I know.
Are we done as a species?
And it's scary when you think about all the people we're friends with.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what they do this is how they support their family.
Yeah.
We're small business. It's a small business. This is how you support your family. Now what?
Yeah, right?
Like it was running through everybody's mind. Now what?
Now what?
But
we got there.
I know.
We worked through it.
2024 is like, we're going to blink and 2024 is going to be here and we're going to start all over.
I have so many memories from the era. Any like, even now and before that era, any moments that you're like, this was really sweet, very unique. This was like, I call it a human moment.
So a couple things I remember. I'm going to cry. I'm going to try not to cry on this one. I have 2 really special moments that I remember. I had a bride, had her grandmother as the flower girl. So she wanted these little kids, to be in it. And they were little. 2-year-olds are just not going to go down the aisle all the time. They're just not going to do it. And I said, and I'm honest with them. Anybody under the age of 5, 50% are going to do it, 50% aren't. And she goes, oh, I really want a flower girl. And I had seen something, somewhere that, and I said, well, are your grandmothers alive? And she goes, I have a grandma. I said, what about your grandma? She goes, oh my gosh. So she did it. Like, I didn't even know, so here we are lining up, and her grandma was the flower girl.
Love that.
Do you know how special that was for that grandmother to throw the petals down the aisle as her granddaughter walked behind her? I was like, there was not a dry eye in the house. And then I had another situation. I have a bride. Oh my gosh, Beth got married. I don't even know how many years ago it's been. Her sister has Down syndrome and would never get married. And when her sister had a dress, and her dad walked both of her, the bride, and her sister down the aisle on the day of her wedding.
I love that.
So her sister was so excited that here my big sister is getting married. She understood all that. But she, her dad had both of his daughters.
Have that moment too.
And walked both of his daughters down the aisle that day.
Oh, wow.
It was a lot.
That is powerful. Whew.
But it was probably one of the best moments to witness that. And she had a small wedding, like 120, I think it was smaller if I remember. And just when she told me that, I was like, what? She goes, well, my sister. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it's supposed to be about you. And she made it about her whole family. And she shared
a shared moment.
And as a bride, every bride who's done that, that's your moment. When you stand at the end of that aisle, it's all about you. And she made it about her sister.
Mm. To share that moment together, that they both can experience that. That's so powerful.
Everybody who was at that wedding will remember that for the rest of their lives. Whew. Wow. It was something.
I'm always amazed at some of the cool things we do as humans, like the best things we do. And those moments, I live for that. You get a lot of those at weddings.
I know.
On Friday, I had that moment when Tyler's son, he was going to be the ring bearer, and he saw his daddy, and he sprinted
down the aisle
just to hug his dad. It's daddy. Like, it was such a beautiful moment for me that his son, because there's a lot of people. I'm nervous. I have a job to do, but it doesn't matter. I see my dad, and I want a hug. And my dad's getting married to my mom today, and
And it was the whole, everybody was like, like everybody loved that moment.
Yes. And that was the last kind of thing before the bride,
Yeah.
But it just full.
And he was
not a walk, just a full run.
He was so adorable.
Yes.
In his little.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wanted to hug him. He was just so you just wanted to snuggle him up. He was so cute, And
that really got me.
That was something.
I'm a crowd full of people. It's overwhelming. I'm carrying.
And he's little. I mean,
Dad. I'm so excited to see my dad.
I know. It was a big day. I mean, that was a big day. I mean, and even as being a little boy, he's little. He's going to remember the photos and all that, but he's going to talk about that wedding for weeks.
Yeah.
For weeks and months.
But that kid didn't plan it. It was just a beautiful moment that happened,
I know. But there's a lot, I mean, I feel like I'm always one of the last ones to send the bride down and, help fluff her dress and whatever. And to see that intimate moment between the bride and her dad, or the bride and her mom, bride and her brother, whoever's walking her down the aisle. I get to see that. I get to see that every wedding. I get to see that look, the nervousness, the excitement. Nobody else gets to see that. I get to see that. I'm lucky. That is so intimate. That is just, it's that moment before the walk, and it's just, what a privilege for me.
You feel blessed.
I do.
Yeah. I mean, you feel just like, this is so cool that I'm a part of this.
I got to be part of the most important day of their life.
I got to see this beautiful moment and share in that. And just, who am I that I could enjoy this?
As I said, I go home floating on a cloud.
Yeah.
I got to witness, and I mean, 99% of all weddings, there's a few.
Yeah.
That I think, why are they doing this? Like, you literally were just cussing each other out 2 minutes before walking down the aisle. Like, what are we doing? But it is pure natural love. Just. And I got to witness it.
I love when people just come together. Like, we had a crazy windstorm power outage, and we got a battery powered speaker, and and they had delayed the wedding because of COVID. So it was like the remake. And then there was a storm out of nowhere that destroyed our stuff. I lost my laptop and I had everything backed up. We just got a battery speaker and we just did it the rest of the wedding that way. And all of the guests were all in on dancing and having fun. It's the only time I've been tipped twice because they gave us a tip initially and then they gave us a tip at the end of the night because it was like, thank you. Like for going above and like we really did. We went because it was like we are forcing this wedding to be fun and be a great memory. It's yes, there was a storm. There was a pandemic that delayed this. You know, we're not letting it stop us.
I know.
It was cool. Everybody kind of came together. It was a really neat feeling for that. But.
And I mean, I used to feel like, God, I feel guilty. I'm so happy. I'm so lucky I get to do the job that I get to do. Like, everybody's happy. You know, I mean, most people go to work, probably more than 50% of the people go to work and think, oh, I got to go to work today. You know, I mean, like, you know, like you don't want to do it. And we're lucky in the wedding world. We're very lucky because there might be some glitches you know, as you're coming up to it.
And it's not without its challenges and stressors.
And we do. And I mean, there's stress. I have gray hair. I mean, you know, I have gray hair. I mean, it wears on you. Yeah. But at the end of the day, when I leave and go home, I think, wow, I got to be part of that. And I know that, I know that they don't think of it like how I, you know.
Sure.
But I was lucky that they asked me to be part of their day. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm blessed. And to be able, you know, I always say, every year I'd be like, I need to get all the people that I've done their weddings and have them come back and do a group picture, you know? And I'm like, there's a lot of brides out there that I've been a part of. Like, where do I go? It'd have to be like some park or something. Like, is there a venue big enough to hold everybody? You know? I mean, but I would love, you know, you do class reunions from high school. Why don't we do reunions for weddings? You know, like
that would be,
you know, I would love like that. Porter County Expo. If you got married in Porter County, Lake County, Jasper County, Newton, you know, like Northwest Indiana, we're having a party for you. All of us vendors should be there and they could come find us, you know, and see, you know, you did my wedding 10 years ago. You did my wedding 20 years ago. I mean, how awesome would that be? How fun would that be? We need to figure that out.
I really enjoy that, especially when I see couples at other weddings, friends or whatever. I'm like, oh, yes, I did their wedding. Oh, I did their wedding. And make it really special that I remember the song and I'll play the song. It doesn't always happen. It doesn't always work with what we're doing, but I try to do that.
Well, and it's funny because somebody, you know, I'll be somewhere and somebody will look at me and I'm like, hi. And they're like, do you remember me? I'm like, I couldn't tell you what I did last week, but I know you got married in 2017 with me. Yes, I remember you, you know. And it just, my memory, I remember brides, you know. I don't remember things that I did 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I can remember a bride and, I remember that. I remember I did one wedding and I did all 4 of those couples and they were all at, you know, like they had all stood up in each other's weddings and, you know, but like the first bride got married and then the bridesmaid's like, hey, I stood up at my friend's wedding. I want to get married with you. And then it trickles, you know. And the next thing I know, we're at a wedding and here's the bride and groom and here's 3 other couples that all were my brides. And I'm like, can I do a picture with you guys?
Right.
So here's me in the middle with these couples, you know, and I'm sure they think, oh my God, Julie's crazy. And I am, no. It's okay. But that was such a memory. So of course I went home that night and I'm looking up all their weddings like, you know, and then I did a post with the pictures and then all 4 couples on their wedding day on that post. And I thought, wow.
Yeah. It's like a family reunion. It's like
it's special.
I remember. Yes.
Being in I mean, it's special. It is. We're lucky.
Do you have advice for couples looking to book a wedding or maybe they've already booked a wedding and like, how can we make the most out of this experience?
I feel like number 1 and number 2, book a real DJ and book a real photographer. I mean, you're going to spend money. Those are 2 of the most important people. The other thing is when you book your venue, make sure there's a coordinator on staff.
Yes.
And ask, what are you going to do? What do you do? What is your job the day of my wedding? Ask them. Educate yourself as a bride. If they're like, well, we're just here to make sure the food goes out on time.
We do room rental. You know, some people do that.
And some people, that's all it is. then hire a day of coordinator. If you don't think that you can handle everything, don't put it all on your mom or your best friend. Hire a day of coordinator. Meet with her, have her come to your final meeting. Hey, this is my girl. She's going to help me the day of my wedding. Just when you're the bride and groom, at the end you're putting on a party. After you get married, you're putting on the party. That's what you're doing. Make sure you hire good vendors because that will take all the stress. Like I said, when I look at my sheet and I'm like, oh, dude, boop, boop. This is going to be a fantastic night.
Right?
As a coordinator, I'm like, I don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything. But brides will come in, well, I don't want to serve this because I don't think people will like it. Okay, this is the day you're allowed to be selfish.
Yeah, what would you like?
What do you want to eat? You want to eat asparagus? Eat the asparagus. Well, most people like green beans. But what do you like? And it's hard. Making choices are hard.
Sure.
People have a hard time making decisions. But I keep drawing them in. This is about you guys. This is the day you are allowed to be 100% selfish and get everything you want. So do it.
People try to get me to pick their first dance song. I go, I can't do that.
No.
I mean, I will, but I don't let me do. Here's 10 songs. Pick from
one.
that, Yeah.
Right. But I want them to realize that this is about them.
Yes.
It's not very often in this world that you should be selfish.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But when you're the bride, girl, put that crown on and prance around because you are allowed to be whatever you want to be that day. It is your day. I mean, it's about the groom too, but most grooms know it is about the bride, But I want that bride to have the best experience possible.
Yes.
And that best experience comes with hiring good vendors.
Yeah. There's the people who are responsible for helping you to capture the memories, to remember it. You don't want to skimp on that.
No.
And then there's the people who are there to help you make those memories the day of the wedding.
Right.
In my opinion, you don't want to skimp on that either.
No.
And then there's where are you going to be doing these memories?
Right.
At a venue. And is this really set up for what your goals are, what your priorities are? And I couldn't agree more. I think a coordinator is so crucial, so important to the success of the day.
And I want to say, I mean, and I'm guessing, I would guess that maybe this is a high number. 75% of the venues in our area, they all have coordinators.
Sure.
Yeah. I think pretty much do.
Most do.
Trust that coordinator, and get to know that coordinator. Like really get to know her at your first meeting when you're venue searching. If you don't feel a connection with that person, that might be a red flag. Like, okay, I don't think I can connect with that coordinator, But like you said, is that venue going to offer you when you this is what I tell people when you're booking a venue. Close your eyes. Can you imagine yourself starting your life together at that venue? Can you see yourself walking down that aisle? Can you take a step back and envision that whole party going on? Do you see all that at this venue? If you do, book it. If you don't, go to the next one. There's got to be, 200 venues in Northwest Indiana? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty to go around. You will find that perfect spot. And if it's a little out of your price range, wait 6 months. Save up 6 more months. That's all. It's not most couples are, mid to late 20s. They're already established. They have homes, what's 6 more months?
Yeah.
Save up that extra money. Get the photographer that you want. Spend the $5,000 on the photographer. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, when you get that album, and get the album, I can't believe the couples that don't buy the album, get the album. You want to open that and go, oh, that's our wedding day. You want those memories in that book. That's what you want. And you want people to walk away going, I had the best time.
Yes.
That's what you want your guests to walk away going, I had the best time tonight. Maybe the food was good. Okay. But I had the best time. I danced. I had cocktails. I saw friends. We did the photo booth. I had the best time. That's what you want your guests to walk away saying.
That's really the goal.
Yes.
I couldn't agree more. And couples come to me, a few a year, where they're like, we love you guys. We want you guys. We can't afford you guys. That's somebody I want to work with. As a vendor, they already see my value. They appreciate me as a person. They want what I have to offer. It's just a little out of their budget. Yeah. So then we talk, frankly. Anybody who's honest with me and humble about that, that's somebody I want to work with. versus how can you justify charging this much? They start with that.
I know. And then you're like, yeah.
They send me a thing. They're inquiring, give me, my price is this. I was like, oh, you've already decided what you're going to pay for a DJ?
Right.
Maybe I'm not your guy then.
Yeah.
Here's what I can give you for that price, that kind of thing.
I know. Yeah. So that's not good either.
But, you work with all types, but I recognize that that's not my client. That's not my customer.
Right.
So, but I love to work with a customer who's like, oh, here's what you can do. Here's another way you can make it cheaper. Have you thought about this? That's somebody who wants to collaborate with me. That's a different conversation.
Right.
Than somebody who, with their hand out, or is just automatically offended by what I charge for our service. But
I know.
When you book a DJ, you're really paying for the outcome. You're paying on what they can do, given their experience, given their equipment, given everything they know. You're paying for that outcome.
Well, and the DJ's the MC for the night.
That's another one.
I mean,
people don't think about that.
They don't think that. That DJ makes sure everything goes smooth, helps keep the timeline, helps keep the party going, making sure. I mean,
helps keep the crowd engaged.
You have a million hats too as a DJ that you wear.
We do, but.
And I think, and I mean, very young people are like, I just want to party. I just want to have a party.
Yes.
Okay, we know, but
Great.
You're inviting 200 other people.
Yeah.
So you got to take a little bit into consideration, like, go watch a DJ, go see them. I mean, everybody has stuff online now.
Absolutely.
Like you can watch.
We do public
clips.
events. Yeah.
Yeah. So, everybody can come out and see you and, but I mean.
If not, read reviews.
I know.
Check out their social media.
Right.
Yeah.
But I know, I know when I see, I'm like, oh, Mike's here. Oh, Mike and Chris are here. We're good. No worries there. It's all good.
What about working with other vendors? If vendors are looking to work, especially if they're new and younger, and they're working with a new venue or a new coordinator, what advice do you have for them?
Well, and when you're a brand new vendor and you want to start out and it's hard to break into the industry. It really is. I mean, you have to get your name out there. You have to put yourself out there. And yeah, you have to keep your prices pretty low because you don't have a lot of experience. But if you this is where I would say, if you are a new vendor, go to a venue, talk to the coordinators. We know a lot of people too. Hey, I really want to start doing photography. Who would you suggest that maybe I could mentor me? Or I really want to get in, I DJ at clubs, but I want to break into the wedding industry. Us as coordinators, we can reach out to some of you and be like, hey, we have a guy, he has a great personality.
Yes.
You want to meet him? Could he follow you around for a little bit?
Yeah, shadow for the day or whatever. Yeah.
And it's like, start with a coordinator. We've worked with all sorts of vendors.
Yeah.
Come to us. Let us help you. I mean, I've been blessed to be able to help quite a few people, and I love that part of my job. That, I love my brand, but I love my vendors too, and I love that you can come into this industry. And I mean, I don't know if I could name one person that wouldn't step up and be like, "Come on, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna show you what you need to do."
I think most people would. Most people are not going to be like, "Whatever, good luck."
Yeah. But I think a lot of you guys would. Everybody would, I mean, I've had people like, I want to go to college to be a event coordinator. I'm like, okay.
Cool.
Come hang out with me for a week.
Come to the school Hard Knocks.
Come here. Let me show you. Because everybody starts at the bottom.
Yes.
And you have to prove yourself, and you have to make a name for yourself, and you have to work your way up. And it's hard work. It's not just going to be handed to you. You have to work for it.
It really does take that.
And, guests coming to a wedding, oh, the DJ was great. The photographer, look at, whatever. But
we make it look easy, but it's not. It's not.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of planning. And I feel like, for the people that put in the effort as vendors, caring has to be at the top of your list. You have to be compassionate. You have to have patience. If you can't be like that, get out of the industry.
Yeah.
Because, you always have a bad DJ or a bad photographer, bad videographer. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
But come on, just talk to somebody that's in the industry. Get their advice. I mean, that would be my best. Go talk to a coordinator. Have her set you up with somebody to see if this is really what you want to do, because we know so many people.
Yeah. And to me, I've always looked at it as once you get in that position, honor those relationships.
Right.
People remember how you made them feel, how you treat other people, especially people. I get so mad when I see people are rude to waitstaff or rude to bartenders, rude to people that they see are the help.
Oh, yeah.
Because they treat me like that as the DJ, and I don't like that.
Oh,
I'm
I
a
know.
person.
I know.
And I'm a person who's been in charge of making sure this is a great time for everybody.
Right.
And you're
Right.
talking down to me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like that. I shut that down.
You have to.
Yeah, this is
You have to.
unacceptable.
And I mean, I've told my staff for years, and I learned this from when I first started, and my first boss, if you're having a bad day, boyfriend got in a fight, you break up, your dog dies, call off.
Yeah.
Literally call me and say, I'm having a bad day. If you can't check your shit at the door and come in and work a wedding and give 100% and put a smile on your face, don't go. Yeah. This is somebody else. This is not about you as a server.
That's right.
As a vendor. This is somebody's most important day of their life. And if you can't come put on a smile and you're running off crying every 5 minutes because your boyfriend broke up with you, or, you got in a fight with your parents, don't come in. Yeah. I mean, I've told people that for years. Don't come in. If you can't give 100% of yourself, don't come and work the wedding with me. I don't want you there. Yeah. Because we all have stuff in our lives. But if you can check it at the door, come in and be happy. At the end of the night, when you punch out, then go deal with reality.
Yes.
Because we're in fantasy land. There's music playing. Everybody's happy. It's like being at Disney
We're at
World.
a wedding. We're dressed up.
Yeah, everybody's excited. So it's good. It's a good thing.
But I agree. Don't make other people's lives harder.
Right.
Don't.
Right.
Just be somebody who people want to work with, who are excited, just as excited, and that passion is infectious. When you're excited and you're loving who you're working with and what you're doing, and you're all trying to come together to work together to make this the most best day possible.
And too, being, you come into the DJ and you're like, who's the photographer today? Like, who's the videographer, or, who's doing the photo booth today? All vendors feel that way. Every single one of us feel that way.
I love when I go up to a newer photographer I've not worked with before. And I go, what time are you guys out of here by? And are there important shots or important things?
Right.
Let's sync up the timeline. They're like, and I was like, we're not going to get started without you. I'll make sure you're set, Yeah. I mean, there's just immediately just that level of like, I understand you're here to do a job. I'm also here to do a job. Let's work together. Yes. They immediately are like, oh, my gosh.
Not everybody does that.
I know. And that's what it should.
And I don't understand. Like, there should be a book of etiquette, vendor to vendor, of how we should be treating each other. And I mean, it doesn't happen that often. I mean, but on occasion, it does. And you think, wow. Did they just say that? Did they just do that? Yeah. Did literally the DJ start and the photographer's not even there and they're introducing? Where's the photographer? How do you not coordinate that to make sure everybody's ready to start? Like, you can't just jump on it because you're excited. Everybody has to be part of the team. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you were hired to be part of the team to make that day special for that couple. That's good.
I couldn't agree more. Julie, this has been
awesome.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you
for coming on. Would love to have you back on, of course.
Yeah.
If people are hearing you on this podcast and they'd love to work with you, what's the best way to get in touch?
Call us over at the Allure on the Lake in Chesterton. Okay. That's where I'm at. We have a great team. Clearly we're pretty booked for next year, but we do have dates open. We still have some dates open. And we're booking for 2025 right now. So we have a lot of our 2025 brides coming in, and come out and see what we have to offer, because we have a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
We have a pretty good deal.
Definitely do.
And it's fun, and it's beautiful. Breathtaking.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
No, thanks for having me. This is great, Mike.
This has been the DJ Insider Podcast. I'm Mike. This is Julie, and we will see you at your wedding. Take care.